Hey y'all, give me about 5 minutes to let people come in, and then we'll start talking about this game. It's rivalry week, the game. I want to see how many of these fans pop up for Ohio State. That's about what I think of them. That burp. Good old water. Hey y'all. In about 2 minutes, I'm gonna start to continue bashing Ohio State as a Michigan guy. I've been doing it for the last 3 years. Why would it change now? I'm great. How about you? Thanks for coming. I appreciate that. In about 1 minute, I'm gonna start talking about this game. I've interacted with a lot of people on here. Who's your team, by the way? Almost at 30 seconds. I don't know what that is. All right, hey everybody. The Michigan man has returned. Now, First and foremost, before I start bashing Ohio State, I want to congratulate Ohio State. Congratulations on Ohio State on having another double-digit winning season under head coach Ryan Day. You guys are having an amazing season. But here's the problem. Outside of that 2019 year, his first year there, he has not beaten us. The reigning, defending, undisputed Big Ten heavyweight champions of the world. All right. As you all know, I'm kind of done with the nice stuff about Ryan Day. He has done about what has been expected of him. Anywhere from being 10-1 at this point because of the Oregon game, or to being 11-0. All right. Now, so here's the burning question: can Ohio State? Will they finally beat their big brother, us, Michigan? Shout out to Blake Corum, by the way. Happy birthday, big guy. I think they can. Alexander, how are you? ¿Cómo estás? No hablo mucho español. My bad. But to be honest with you, I think they can. They're the better team. They turn the ball over way less. Their offensive line is playing as good as ever. Their defense is playing really good. Yeah, I don't know who Alexander is either. But the problem with Ohio State is they have not been more physical in this game in the last 3 years. Michigan has been tougher. They've been more physical. They have not been as talented as Ohio State, and that's the problem. And Ryan Day went out and got a bunch of good players. Now, granted, they're great players. Caleb Downs, Quinshon Judkins, a lot of great players. And he recruited good, as he always does. But he's been way more talented than Michigan in all of those 3 games. I know, right? It's true. And he still gets pushed around by Michigan. Check out this stat, okay? About 800 yards rushing given up in the last 3 games by Ohio State in this game. Turnover battle has been won by Michigan. Michigan has had 1 turnover in this game in the last 3 games. Ohio State has had. I'm from Florida, by the way. What about you? And Ohio State has had a hard time. Canada? Oh, cool. What part? I'm from North Florida, by the way, near Tallahassee. And Ohio State has not been able to do it. You know, Ryan Day has had the reputation of having a soft team, and it's his fault. And he's mad about that, and that's his fault again. He's always had excuses for all the big games. The Indiana game clearly proved they were not really a big game, because Indiana clearly not a very good team this year. You know, and again, they're having a successful season, but who have they played outside of us in a home game, which they barely won? Now, they had not played anybody. So, really, that game was pretty much a gimme for Ohio State. The Penn State game, they beat Penn State every year. Oh, that feels good. They beat them every year. What's so special about that? My point I'm making is until Ryan Day beats us, I don't care what he does. He can be mad. He can throw fits. He can throw all the excuses out there, the hash marks, all this other stuff. My players are injured. That targeting call should have stood, all this other garbage. He can do all that he wants. He can beat all the teams he wants. He can lose all the games on New Year's Day as soon as New Year starts as much as he wants. Shout out to the Georgia Bulldogs. That's what I'm talking about. Until he beats us, I don't care what he does. It means nothing. And to be honest, that loss he had at Oregon, which I said would happen, by the way, if you go through my channel, he lost, and Oregon played their worst game without some. You had all your best players. You still lost that game. And you're going to lose to them if you play them again. No, I don't know what that is. But the point is, Ohio State has been a big disappointment under Ryan Day. So people talking about how he's beating a top 5 Penn State and a top 5 Indiana. Yay! What about Clemson, the first game? What about Alabama in the national championship? What about Oregon 3 years ago? What about Michigan the last 3 years? What about Georgia? Excuse me. What about cheating to beat an overrated Notre Dame team last year? What about Missouri in the Cotton Bowl last year? He hasn't done anything. None. Nothing. All he's done is come up with a lot of excuses. And look, and I know Michigan has had a bad year, and they're probably going to lose to Ohio State. Probably is a big word. It's not guaranteed. Michigan still does one thing well. You know what that is? They run the football pretty good. Okay? They still run the football. Something Ohio State has shown me that they consistently have an issue with against a tough team on the lines of scrimmage. Northwestern, bless their hearts. They had a hard time with Northwestern at Northwestern. We played them. We destroyed those guys. We played Indiana at Indiana and had a hard time. Outside of that punt return you had and outside of some other fluke plays, you had a hard time with them too. Okay? But point, and you were at home. Okay? Nothing special. Y'all winning the game. And then when it comes to the big games, he loses every time. So my point is, I'm not scared of Ohio State. I'm not here to change the narrative. I have talked trash about Ohio State for the last 3 years. I don't care if we were 6-5, which is what we are. I don't care if we were 5-6 going into this game, 0-11, and they're 11-0. I don't feel any different about Ohio State than I did before the season started, last year, or anything like that. All right? Michigan can beat this team. They can. Depends how well they run the football. And it depends on how well their defensive line continues to win the line of scrimmage. Because some things have not changed about Michigan since last year. Their defensive line is still really good and really tough and talented up front. Their offensive line is still really good. And their running game is still really good. Okay? And Michigan's defense is still hard to deal with. And Ohio State's offensive line has been questionable. Indiana did not play bad against them with way less talent. Michigan owns them. Michigan has a mental advantage over Ohio State in this game. Last time they played at Ohio State, they put the flag in their field after rushing for 300 yards with a broken-handed Donovan Edwards, the backup to Blake Corum at the time. So, to answer my question for the thumbnail, no, Ohio State will not win this game. Look, as stupid as I look saying this, as silly as I look saying all this stuff and how I sound, I still don't care. I'm going to go down swinging. I said Ohio State was not very good. I still feel that way. The Nebraska game told me everything I needed to know. The struggle at Northwestern pulling away late told me everything I need to know. The hard game they had with Iowa until the very end when they pulled away with all the talent told me everything I need to know. The loss at Oregon told me everything I need to know. Penn State did not play good against Ohio State and Penn still had a chance to win that game. I don't care about what Ohio State has done well this year. They haven't shown me anything different. Think of John Jones talking about Daniel Cormier. And I'm a fan of both fighters, so I can say this. John Jones going through a rough time in his life, just like Michigan's going through a rough time right now. Every time they got the first time before when they got in that case, John Jones whooped them and owned him. Daniel Cormier takes shots at them. Kind of like Ohio State talking about Michigan is cheated. Lost all their coaches. One thing never changes. Daniel Cormier could not beat John Jones, even at his worst. I don't think Ohio State can beat Michigan at their worst. By the way, this head coach we got now who has struggled beat you last year. You remember that? I do. Ooh, that's some good water. My point is, I'm not intimidated by Ohio State. Michigan can beat this team. And you know what? I think they will. Now, I've had a lot of feedback here, but not a lot on this game. How do y'all feel about me saying that? Am I a case? What does that mean? And why am I wearing this belt, a professional wrestling belt in this video? Because Michigan is still the Big Ten champs. They know Ohio State might win that thing or go for that thing if they beat us. Until you beat us, you ain't done nothing. Remember what John Jones told Daniel Cormier in 2017? Said, until you beat me, that little belt you got is a piece of, you know what? I can't say it on my channel because I don't use profanity. But that's just the way it is, man. You don't know. Why would you say it? Anyways, it doesn't matter. Just like Ohio State winning all their games. It doesn't matter. Can't win the big one. That's been the story of Ryan Day. Can't do it. Just can't do it until I see it. And even if he does win the big one, I'm still not going to acknowledge it. That's how obnoxious I am when it comes to Ohio State. Because I can be. I don't know. But, yeah, it is what it is. I don't have much sense on my channel, guys. Just let it go. I can't help it. It is what it is. But hey, I'm about to start another video in a few minutes, so I can talk about Clemson and South Carolina. No. I will talk about that, but I really wanted to talk about Auburn and Alabama because Auburn's coming off the biggest win of their season, biggest wins they've had, the biggest win they've had in the last 3 or 4 years. And Alabama's coming off the worst loss they've ever had since Nick Saban left. Nick Saban never even had a loss like that. Even when they lost to, who was it? Northern Illinois or whoever it was that they lost to at home in 2007. It was still a close game, as bad as it was. This game wasn't even close with Oklahoma. But hey, yeah, I'll see you guys in a few. Thanks for showing up, y'all. I really appreciate it.